Hi, my name's Natasha.
My name is Miss Iffy.
And welcome to Wise Woman Wednesday. Today, we're going to be talking about friends and their boundaries.
Yes. And this is our 10th episode. So
It
thank
is.
you very much for watching the last 2 episodes. And if you haven't watched it, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, and also share. Please share.
Exactly. Send us loads of love and positivity on our way.
Definitely. So, Iffy, let's get into it.
Yes.
Friendships.
I know. They do say friends are for reason, for season, and for life.
They are. You know, the funny thing you should say that. I think that, you know, when they say that friends are for a season.
Yeah.
Some people might get a bit offended because sometimes a friend will come for a season and they're there for your hard times.
Yes.
And just for your hard times. Because maybe that's the person that you need
in
order to get you through that. But a lot of people might think, oh, they just used me. You used me. Oh, you just, you know.
The things about, I don't believe in using people, right? And I don't believe in, yes, there are people out there who use some people.
Yeah.
And that's just their personality and that's just who they are. They would continue. For me, I see it as a growth.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
It was meant to be by God for that person to be there for that season, for that journey. They're not meant to have an impact in your life, rest of your life, or meant to be, they just were there and came into your life for that season, for that period of time. And I've learned to accept that once I heard that statement. I think it was 2008 when my friend said that statement to me. It's like, friends are for a reason, for season, and for life. And that's when I really looked at it and I thought to myself, hold on, I can't get upset if a friendship falls apart. I can't get upset if we grow apart. Can't, you know, because that's just part of life. And I think once you really look at that and you evaluate what those things mean, then you will appreciate what friendship is.
You know, it's funny. That's part of setting boundaries. Well, for me, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's part of setting boundaries.
100%. Boundaries very, 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 very important.
Really important, especially if, okay, for me, for instance,
yeah,
if I say to you, Ifra, I don't like when you come to my house and you take your shoes off. Let's just use that for instance. So I expect when you come to my house, you don't take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to set strong boundaries with your friends. Not even just your friends, in general with people. And I think once you set boundaries, that sets a firm relationship.
It tends to open the relationship, be more honest and more transparent and more clear of where you stand with that person.
Definitely.
And I'm thinking, for me personally, when it comes to boundary and friends, I've learned from my past experience that there's times where friends come into your life for a period of time. Maybe you're at that period, your mindset is that way. And then I realized that I was carrying those friendships. I was the main leader in the group. I was more like, I was the one who intended to communicate first. I was the one. So I looked at it and I evaluated the friendship and I thought to myself, hold on, I am the one who's initiating everything. Yeah. And if I don't do it, you don't initiate that.
You won't get it done. Yeah.
So I've learned that I needed to be open with them and say, hey, this is how I feel. And as friends, I want to set this boundary of friendship is a two-way thing.
It is, definitely.
And I can't be the one. Yes, maybe at that time I didn't see it because I was in that journey of my life, but now that I'm in a better journey in life and I'm like, well, not better or whatever growth I've done, I need this boundary. I need to set a boundary in our friendship because I don't have the time, I don't have the thing, and I don't see our friendship valuable enough for me anyway at this time for me to be keep on doing things, because I want to be felt appreciated too.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's very, very important to set, instead of getting upset and letting distant become your friendship.
Yeah.
You know, because we intend to do, some of us, if we don't know how to communicate better, we intend to get upset with actions of a friend has done, and that kind of tends to be the nail in the coffin of the ending of that friendship.
Yeah. And I think that with that as well, you have to, in a friendship, because we're talking about friendships, communication is key. Sometimes you can say something to somebody and they misinterpret it another way. But if you have a proper friendship, you'll be able to say, okay, you know what, Natasha, or I'll say Ifra, you did something and it upset me. Yeah. And this is why it upset me. And then you'll be able to say, okay, I'm sorry for that. Or maybe we could do it like this, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. And also, for me, some friends, when the friendship began, you only allow them to get to know one part of you. So maybe you allowed them, they came into your life and they only know Natasha, the fun side. Maybe they know the Natasha who is going through a difficult time in her life, and you guys bonded on your trauma because you were both going through that difficulties of that journey.
Yeah.
And then later on, a lot of people, what they find themselves is that they do not know how to turn, because you've learned, you're not in that position of where you were going through that journey of that difficulty, but like
you've outgrown. Yeah.
Not necessarily outgrown them. It's just that you only knew, you were only bonding that person with the trauma, and then you healed from them, that trauma,
and maybe that person hasn't healed from that trauma.
That person hasn't healed from it, so therefore it causes a distance. Because there are some people who will look at the friendship and who would see, oh my God, I've healed from it, so therefore this friendship there's no purpose of this friendship for me anymore.
I don't think necessarily. I think sometimes when you've matured.
Yes.
I think sometimes some people, not everybody, try to, especially in your circle, you try to help others.
Yeah.
To bring them up to a certain level. But sometimes it's, even though you're that person's friend and you're trying to help them, it's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
So if that person doesn't want to move forward, you can't do anything about it. You just have to carry on with your life. And some people, how we would say in the Caribbean culture, is your bad mind.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that person go because you're in a bad place.
Yeah.
You want to hold that person back in that bad place. And that's wrong.
But then remember, they're in their own trauma, so they can't see outside what they're doing wrong. They cannot see anything because they are stuck in that position. So therefore, and then I'm going to be honest with you, there are some people that's just who they are. Yeah. It's not even nothing to do with the fact that they're going through a difficult time. Because I feel like, honestly, I look at some people and I used to think, I was like, oh my God, why is it always that you're going through the same damn shit? Like, literally.
It's true.
Honestly.
They don't learn. Learn. They don't learn.
And it drains you.
Yeah,
and then you have to choose as a friend. You're like, oh my God, am I gonna stay in this ship that's sinking?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna have a peaceful...
Build my own raft and move.
Yeah, because you want to have your own peace.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. 100%.
Honestly, and then you intend to distance yourself from it.
Yeah.
And I definitely think if you need to set boundaries with your friends, and you need to distance yourself things that are not bringing you any happiness or peace in your life.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Girl, let me clap. pace.
And no, because you have to, like, otherwise you're in that journey.
It's
and you
true.
look at your life and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I've been stuck in the same journey for 10 years.
Yeah,
with you.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's you know, we're all about building ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're all about building ourselves. You have to be.
Yeah.
And if you have people in your life that are, not to say you're better than them, because nobody in life is better than you. Nobody's better than you. If I cut you, you bleed. If you cut me, I bleed.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think sometimes it's just certain people's energies. It's draining. It's draining.
It does not, if it's not going to bring you peace, don't be part of it.
Yeah.
Right? And also, I had a friendship where at the time, we're not saying cut everybody into who's going through a bad journey. We're just saying if you feel like you cannot help them and that you're tried,
You have to set a boundary.
you got to set a boundary. You can love somebody from distance.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? That's what people need to seem to understand, is that it's okay to distance from a friend.
Sometimes.
Like, if their behavior is not changing and it's draining you, or it's affecting you, right?
Yeah.
And you really, all you want to do is help, but you feel like each time you helping that person, it has a negative effect on you, then you got to distance and love that person from far.
Yeah.
Because you're just human, we're all human beings, and we all have a breaking moment.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
In like
100%.
any relationship, we have a breaking moment where you have to say to yourself, enough is enough, because this is affecting me mentally or physically or other ways that you could use that energy
but do
for
you
yourself
find
to grow.
That sometimes, okay, when you are honest with somebody,
yes,
and you set your boundaries, this is how you're feeling, we have to respect this.
Yeah.
That sometimes some people try to play the victim when they know fully what you've done.
Yes. Oh,
it's irritating.
I look at it, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because of my background culture. I find my biggest problem with Western people is they play the victim.
Yeah, 100%.
They love throwing the stone and hiding it. Like literally will hide behind everybody else's back. And suddenly and I think that's why many people tend to keep quiet when they do things that when their friends crosses the boundary or like they keep that because it's a case of, oh my God, if I tell him or her what they did, right, it's gonna be argumentative.
Well, that's the thing. I think sometimes some people, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes.
Some people can say stuff to you and they'll say it so rude, arrogantly, you think, you know what, fuck you, I'm gone, and don't want to listen. But if you, look at our friendship. We've been friends for over 20 years. Yeah. And we've always been honest with each other. If you do something that pisses me off, you've upset me. I don't like that girl. Same thing with me. If something's happened, we talk about it. It's squashed. But I know when you say something, it's coming from a good place. You're not saying it to hurt me. You're not saying it upset me. You're doing it to make me see something from a different light or to encourage me. Yeah. Do you know, same vice versa. But when some people can't take that information and process it in a positive way. No.
But then that's when you have to look at yourself and say, look, how are you going to keep on, you can't keep on sugarcoating, right?
No, you can't. You have sometimes, there's going to be a point you have to be real.
Yeah. And you also, it's a thing of when somebody gives you information like that and honest with you, it's coming from a good, genuine place. Yeah. Right? And that's why I always look at it when I do that, I'm like, I'm expecting a bad reaction from that person.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was younger, oh my God, I gave that shit back.
Yeah,
right? I was
definitely.
like, you're gonna hit it, I'm gonna hit it down, down.
It's
You come
true,
to
it's
it.
true.
But now
You're older.
I'm more like, okay,
You're wiser.
I know because I've known this person X, Y, and Z. They're gonna, as much as I try to give this information as nicest way, positive way, I know it's gonna affect them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I am willing to accept that I'm gonna get heat back, or the information I'm giving to them, they won't accept the way I expect them to accept it.
Yeah.
Right? So therefore I give them a space.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm like, okay, they need time. So as long as you exactly. So as long as you say to yourself, if you decide to set a boundary with friends and you decide to put these things in place, you got to realize that how they react, right? You got to expect a reaction.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But you have to be ready to not take that personally.
Definitely, 100%.
And you got to be prepared, and you got to allow, and you got to realize that the reaction, majority of the time, that if you'll get a reaction from them, right? Even though you're not looking for a reaction, but that's just who we are as a human being.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And you got to realize that they reacting like that because they love you.
Yeah.
Right? Well, majority people, but then others are just delusional. Delusional, and they do not know how to take responsibility for their actions.
It's true, but the thing is, it's for me personally, I have to, like, I was that person.
Yeah. You
could tell me something and I feel I have to handle just like that in a second. Even sometimes now I still do it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? But it's not because I'm not, once I sit down and I process that information that you've given me, I'll be like, oh, okay, now I see what I might not see it in that instant right there and then.
Yeah.
But once I go away and I process the information in my own way, I say, oh, okay. And then we move on.
Yeah. No, and also what I do is when I have to have a difficult, I think many people should do, when you have to have a difficult, because obviously it's not like you wake up tomorrow and say, oh my God, Natasha, I can't take this. It's been, there has been so many things that led you to make that decision.
Yeah.
Right? I think you need to go and find the right friend to talk to who can make you understand things of how your friend will react to what you're about to tell them. That's one thing I've always been lucky for me, that I had great friends for life. Some actually live like, half an hour on a train? I probably haven't even seen them like over a year or whatever. But we pick the phone up like nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's like I saw you yesterday because we're busy with life. And that's why I've always been lucky about when it comes to friends. I always had a friend that if I was to make a decision about something that really bothered me and concerns me about a friend, I pick the phone up. And my friends that I love are very, very transparent to me. It's like one of the things when it comes to boundaries for me that I set with friends, I'm like, I want to know if I'm wrong. I want to know. I want to be told. I hate to be finding out secondhand information from somebody else. Because we were just talking about before we start recording that how I say to you, that things I look into in friends, it's communication.
Yeah, definitely key.
And things that I told them from the beginning, I'm like, no matter what it is, right, it has to come out your mouth from me. I hate to be talked about. Like literally I hated it. Instead of group friends, even if me and you fall out and we were group of friends, I would never tell anybody else in that group of friends, because I never wanted the other friends to get involved or to make them feel uncomfortable. Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna have that conversation with that friend when we both calm down of whatever we disagreed with, right? And we'll have a proper conversation.
But that's the thing. Sometimes you can't get to that place with that person.
Yeah.
They're just like, you know what, you've upset me, I'm gone.
Thank God I've never had immature people like that. But the problem I always had, I was that person, because I told them from the beginning, if we have an issue, it's between me and you. And I used to intend to find that they spreaded their part of what happened with everybody else, and it made everybody else feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I looked at it that as a really, really bad
disrespect.
Yeah, because I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, you're making everybody else feel uncomfortable based on something that was so small.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, for me, I used to think, but I still think, they did that deliberately for others to take their side.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I didn't appreciate it until, do you know what I used to do? I used to cut them and everybody else in the group who came to me with that conversation. Legit. Literally, if they came with me with that nonsense, I cussed them out and the other person, and I used to say to them, I was like, what did I tell you in our thing? I said to you, don't come to me and tell me what anybody else says. Like, no, honestly, I would cut them out. Oh my God, especially if I was on a night out.
It's true.
And they come and told me, I would, like, you see when they say don't shoot the messenger?
Yeah,
I'll shoot the messenger too.
Oh my. No, the thing is, I think with that, for me, I don't like we call it carry go bring go. I don't like it. If somebody's told you something about me, and for me, anyway, you know this.
Yeah.
If it's gonna certain things, okay. If you feel it's of some kind of importance, okay, tell me.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time, I don't care.
I just find it is a betrayal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about boundaries, and that was the first boundaries that I set up with friends.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I tell friends and family. Even my family knows it. My brother cannot turn around and says to me, blah, my sister said this is it. Because straight away, if my sister talks to him about me, he tells her to go and talk to me. He shuts the conversation down.
But that's how it's supposed to be.
And it's the same with my friends. That's one thing I ask with my friends. Yeah? Be honest. And if somebody comes to me and says to you this, you got to tell the person to stop. You got to say to them, hey, look, stop. I've got a good, amazing friend, right? And 2 male friends came to her and said to her, oh, I need to talk to you about Iffy. And she went straight away, shut them down. She was like, stop. Just let you know, whatever you're telling me right now, I'm going to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Every single word you say to me, because Iffy, one thing she asked for is be honest and transparent. Do not talk about her. If you have anything to talk about her, go on and say it to her. Because her finding out this conversation, you saying this, or whatever it is, even if you're coming from a great place, obviously you're talking to me because I can reasonable with her, or I can talk to her about what your concern is. I understand where you're coming from, but you got to understand that if I don't report every single word of this conversation, that's one thing the friendship she appreciates. She's going to cut this friendship on both because she will find it as a betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a really, really good way of communicating with friends and setting the boundaries straight away, is knowing that. Like, it is knowing when to say what affects you.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, what makes you, as that friendship, you got to be transparent and say, look, these are the things, as long as these are not the boundaries that you don't cross for me, then we can have the greatest conversation. We can be communicating, we can be friends for life.
Definitely. I just think that some people are just not ready for some friendships. They're just not ready.
No.
They're not.
Some people are there to just take out of what they can.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Not everybody's mature enough to say, look, what am I doing wrong in the friend? I've seen friendship where people, you tell them what they did wrong, and
they'll flip it like it's you. Yeah, definitely.
100% they're like, no, this is not it, and you've got to be strong enough to know your worth.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
a human being, to say like, no, I'm not accepting this kind of behavior.
But have you found that when you start telling people, oh, you setting your boundaries, they think that you're better than them. They think that they think that you think you're better than them, when it's not. You're just a person, you've growth.
Yeah.
You have your boundaries. Either you respect them or you don't.
Do you know what? Thank God I've not had that that experience.
Oh, I've had it.
Yeah.
I've had it. People think that you're better than that. They think that you're better. Well, think that you think that you're better than them, when it's not like that.
But that's then you find that seen within their insecurity.
Well,
and their mindset.
100%.
And their environment.
Yeah, definitely.
And they see it's so bad-minded. I know what you're talking about. I've not experienced it personally, but I've seen within our community, especially with people with the mindset, I'm not think like that. As soon as you set boundaries or even like decide even business and move and grow, as soon as you decided to put a bit of growth in your life, instead of supporting you for the greatness you're doing, it's like, oh, she thinks she's better than that now. Yeah, or she thinks she's all this now, or she's doing this now. And you're like,
it's not even like that.
It's not even like that, but it's because they just ignorant.
Yeah,
ignorant people, ignorant, and there's nothing happiness happening in their life.
I was just about to say that when they're stagnant and they're in that you have these people that are in one place, one mindset. Instead of them looking left and looking right, they're just looking straight. But you know,
it's funny enough, right? I was going to say it's like they don't know any better.
No, they don't.
But I'm sorry, but at the same time, of course, you should know better. Like, you can't live your life like you live in your 30s and your 40s. You cannot live like you're 16 again.
No, definitely. No, you can't. You can't. So,
especially like when the things that, as much as we say it, we make an excuse for them. I find sometimes within our community, we like, oh, they don't know any better.
But they do know better.
You do know better. If you can go in and freaking spend that iPhone £1,000, you should know freaking better in life. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? You choosing. You choosing, like, do you know what I mean?
I know, it's true. It's
no,
true.
Of course you know better, but it's just that their journey's different. Like, do you know what I mean? Their journey's different.
Journey,
their journey's just different because they're growing, but they're growing in the wrong direction. And it's like...
Well, no, you can't say that. You know why?
Yeah.
Everybody's growing in a direction that suits them. That's tailored to them, that they want to go on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Some people want to grow and be in a good place. Some people are growing, but they're growing into a bad place. But that's just what they're doing.
Yeah. Because that comes again when you said, you know, you feel like they think that you're better than them. But what they don't realize is that you've chosen to take a path that makes you happier.
Right.
And they have chosen to stay the path they are in.
That makes them happy.
Yes. But does it really make them happy because they hear criticizing you for the decisions you decided to make life?
It's bad mind. They're bad mind. That's it's bad mind, them bad mind. It's okay. It's bad mind, them bad mind. Don't worry. No, but it's true. It's true. When you're when you have growth within yourself and you find your own peace, you will find people coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
Friends coming that you didn't even see before, remember before.
Yeah.
And they're they'll try and bring you down because they're sad. It's a bad mind. It's a bad mind.
Because I'm thinking this is another thing. Obviously, I've grown out of it. It's they see you do something different that they should, and then it's like, oh yeah, I remember when you didn't have this, or I remember now you think different. It's like, oh yeah, I see. And it's like they trying, when you said bring you down. Before it was words, and if the words doesn't work, it's reminding you where you came from.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, thank God we're stronger than that. But there are unfortunately people out there who's not, and bring that experience of that person that's been through, which can bring them back into a downfall side of where they were.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So, well, we're going to leave it on this subject here. So do remember, there's so many saying, isn't it? There's friends for a reason, for a season. You are the company you keep. That is definitely.
Definitely.
Right? If you decide to move away from the company you keep, then that's great.
Things will change. Trust
Honestly,
me.
there's nothing, absolutely nothing that should bring you down. Growth is great.
Yeah.
Whether you take half a step, a step, wherever you are with your journey, just remember this is your journey and you only live one life.
Yes, definitely.
One life.
Definitely.
Do it your way, whatever makes you happier.
100%.
And if you're a bad-minded person and makes you happier, stay there.
Just don't come over here. Keep it right over there. Oh gosh, you have to laugh, man. You have to laugh. But remember, please like, subscribe, share, comment. We would love, even email us at wisewomanwednesdays@gmail.com. We would love to hear your views. If you've got a topic that you'd love to hear us talk about, please email us.
Yes, and please share it with your family and friends. And thank you very much. Until next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. This was episode 3.